Move into a brand new construction home in the next 90 days. That's right, you don't have to wait 6 months or even 9 months for a new build. Maybe you're moving to Charleston or Summerville in less than 3 months. Maybe you're relocating for a job, or you're retiring, or you're downsizing. We're going to talk about step by step how to do that and how to buy a new construction home in less than 90 days. It's a different process than building from scratch, and it's a very different process than buying a pre-existing home. So make sure you get this right. Avoid making a mistake that could cost you thousands of dollars. So make sure to stay until the end. I'm making this video because a lot of you have reached out and said that you're interested in buying new construction. And some of you have bought pre-existing homes before, but you don't know how the new construction process works. So allow me to shed some light on this. We'll cover how to buy a new construction home in the next 30, 60, or 90 days. Now, when you're buying new construction, there are typically 2 ways to do this. The first way is that you could build from scratch from the ground up, and that takes about 3 to 9 months. Or the second way is to buy from the builder's inventory. That takes about 30 to 90 days. So buying from the builder's inventory is a lot faster than building from the ground up. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, the buyer's inventory includes completed move-in ready homes and spec homes that could be done in the next 1 to 3 months. A spec home is when the builder speculates that the future buyer, that's you, will come along and buy the house when it's done. So it's not a custom build. They've already started building it ahead of time. This is what a lot of local production builders do, like D.R. Horton, Lennar, Ashton Woods, and Starlight Homes. And even custom builders will have at least a few spec homes available in their inventory. Now, when you're getting ready to buy your new home, the first thing that you need to look at is your budget. We start with budget first because that can sometimes determine which area you will live in. There's a saying that goes, drive till you qualify. So to find out your budget, you're going to want to sit down and take a look at all of your income that's coming in and all of your expenses that are leaving. Think about what monthly payment you would be comfortable paying. Your monthly payment is going to include your mortgage payment, taxes, insurance, your HOA fee. Most new construction homes, about 80% of them, come with some sort of HOA fee. So keep your monthly payment in mind, and that's going to help guide you towards your price range. Then, once you have an idea of what you want your monthly payment to be, then you can start looking at some areas in town. Do you want to be in Summerville, maybe Moncks Corner, North Charleston, or maybe even Ridgeville? Ridgeville is actually a great option that not many people know about, especially if you're moving here, maybe you haven't heard of Ridgeville, right? Ridgeville is 20 minutes from Summerville to the north, and it's more quiet and more affordable than Summerville. So that might be an area to consider when you're thinking about which area you want to live in. Also think about how close to town you want to be. How far do you want to commute to your job? And of course, once you've nailed that area down, the area that you're interested in living in, then you want to think about which builders do you like? Which communities do you like? Some communities, especially the large master plan communities, have multiple builders that you can choose from. So if you're looking at Cane Bay Plantation, for example, you have a lot of builders to choose from, whereas some communities only have one builder. For example, you'll find Lennar Builders in Cypress Preserve, and you'll find Crescent Homes in Foxbank Plantation. If you don't know which builder or which community you're interested in, I've covered some builders and some communities on this channel already. So check out my new construction playlist here. Plus, I'll be making more videos on that, so make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for notifications when I upload a new video. Now, after doing some research, if you're still not sure which builder or community that you're interested in, feel free to give me a call. My name's Kristyn Garcia. I'm a realtor here and I specialize in new construction. I also work with my mom, and we're a family team, so we would love to help you guys achieve your dreams of home ownership here. Whatever you need, we're here to help you answer any questions. Just give me a call, text, email, anytime. My information is in the description below. Now, once you do know which community and which builder you like, make sure you don't make this next mistake. Do not just go on the website and put your information in, okay? Don't do it. I know you're probably excited and you want more information on the community and you want to set up a time to tour it, but I would recommend doing this first. Give me a call first before you enter your information in their site, or before you set up an appointment with them at their community. If you don't do that, if you don't call me first, then you're going into this unrepresented and you're going to be vulnerable. Typically, builders won't let you have your own representation once you've already contacted them. So make sure you get with me first. Make sure you have someone on your side that knows the ins and outs of this process and knows how to negotiate too. Because it's one of those crucial times where what you don't know could cost you thousands of dollars. Remember that the sales agents represent the builder's best interest, not yours. And they're going to do anything to protect that interest of their builder. In the state of South Carolina, we are what's called a caveat emptor state, which means buyer beware. And it's up to you to do the due diligence if you're on your own, which is why I recommend not doing this on your own. Definitely make sure you have a realtor like me. Now, once you've given me a call, from there, I'm gonna help you communicate with the builder. I help you make sure we keep an eye on the builder's inventory, and I make sure that we know what's coming up. Because when your home plan becomes available, we need to move quickly. We're in a seller's market, so it's likely that you'll have buyer competition. A good rule of thumb is the lower the purchase price, the more competition there will be among buyers. Also, certain plans and certain lots are more popular than others, and they sell a lot more quickly, so it's important to stay in the loop with the sales agent so we don't miss out. Some plans aren't available until they reach a certain stage, like the framing stage, for example, before the builder releases them to the public. Homes like that are in the earlier stage will obviously take a little more time, and you'll have to wait for them a bit longer. Some homes are already completed and move-in ready, and you can close on those homes in around 30 to 45 days. So either way, you could be in your new home in just 3 months. Now, because you're buying from the builder's inventory, you likely won't be picking anything. The structure is definitely not going to be changed because you're past that point already. And for selections on the inside of the home, like cabinets, countertops, flooring, things like that, there's an 80% chance that you probably won't be picking those either. If it's earlier in the build process, there is a chance that you can make some changes. If it's move-in ready though, you're not going to change anything. It just depends where the home is in the build process. And it depends on the builder too. Sometimes it's a more luxury builder and you can make some changes, but if they're more of a production builder and they're trying to, move quickly, it's likely that you can't change anything. But typically the builder will have a sheet of these selections listed. So you'll see what's inside the home and you can see pictures typically and you can approve the selections. So you're gonna look at the sheet, approve those selections, and then say, great, let's move forward. So now the next thing you'll need is a pre-approval from a lender. If you have a lender that you typically work with, I would recommend getting a pre-approval letter from them. And I would also absolutely recommend getting pre-approved with the builder's preferred lender. The reason you want to get pre-approved with their lender is that they offer incentives if you use their preferred lender. These incentives could look like money towards closing costs, or a lower interest rate, or even additional appliances. Some of them come with flex money incentives. I had a client who got up to $50,000 in flex money, so he used a combination of that money to buy down the rate and lower the purchase price. And it's especially helpful to buy down the rate if the interest rates are relatively high. For example, at the end of 2023, our rates were at 7 and 8%. Now they've dropped to the high 6s. So the builder's preferred lender can offer you 1 to even 2% below the average market rate. I know some builders right now that are offering as low as 4.99%, and that's a lot of savings every month. So I absolutely recommend getting pre-approved with the builder's lender, but also shop around so that you know that you're getting the best deal. So again, those builder incentives are tied to the use of that preferred lender, but they're also tied to the use of their preferred closing attorney. It's a package deal. They offer you extra money if you use their lender and their attorney. And while we're talking about the closing attorney, let's also talk about the contract. So the builder contract is very different from the South Carolina real estate contract. It's a completely different contract. The builder works with their own attorney to make their own purchase contract. One case where it's different from the typical resale home contract is that on the typical contract, you can negotiate. You can negotiate price, terms, contingencies, and a bunch of other things. Whereas the builder contract is not negotiable. They write their own contract and you basically agree to it or you don't. There's no in between. So you can't ask for anything to be changed in the contract. It's yes or no. Do you agree to the contract or not? And it's a very long contract. It's about a 40-page contract typically, and there's a lot of legal language that makes it hard to understand. So I would recommend looking through the contract and making a list of questions that you don't understand and certain items that you don't understand. So get your list of questions together and get with a real estate attorney. If you don't have one that you typically work with, I can recommend one to you and they will help you understand the legalese of the contract. And they would be happy to answer any questions you have about it. Or if you'd like to use your own attorney, you can do that, of course, and that will be at your own expense. So make sure you read and understand the contract, but know that you cannot change it. Once you're pre-approved and you've signed the contract, you'll have to put down your earnest money. Your earnest money is the consideration that ties that house to you. It's like when you're getting engaged. You go out and you buy an engagement ring, and that is signaling your commitment. And it shows that eventually you're going to end up together. It's like you're not married yet, but you will be married, and no one else can put a ring on it. Then once you've deposited the earnest money, that officially ratifies the contract, and that builder can't sell that house to anyone else but you. So let's talk a little more about the earnest money. A lot of you always ask, how much is the earnest money? And that totally depends on the builder. And it also depends on the builder's community. Sometimes the earnest money is 1% of the purchase price. Sometimes it's 3% of the purchase price. And sometimes it's a flat fee. It just depends. I'll share a recent example with you from one of my Lennar clients. My client bought a $350,000 home and he put 3% down. So his earnest money payment in total was $10,500. He didn't have the entire payment of $10,500, so he ended up asking the builder if he could split it up in 2 or even 3 payments. And they agreed to let him split it up into 3 payments. So over the next few weeks, he made payments of about a little over $3,000. And that worked for him. So sometimes you can split up your earnest money deposit into multiple payments to make it easier for you. But I want to make sure that you know this next part because it's very important you understand this. The earnest money payment needs to be deposited relatively quickly. Sometimes they want it in the next 24 hours or 48 hours, or sometimes they'll be okay with having the deposit in the next few days. But know that they will be asking for that as soon as possible in order to ratify your contract. So once you sign that contract, get your earnest money deposit in. And also remember that the earnest money payment is credited back to you at closing. That is your money when you close. So that means that's more money that you do not have to include in your loan amount. Now, there are some instances where if you have a change of heart and you decide to back out, that builder may decide to keep your earnest money deposit. If you can't go through your home purchase or it's something that's out of your control, you will typically get your earnest money back. For example, if interest rates suddenly rise and you can't afford your monthly payment anymore, you will typically get your earnest money back. If you're worried about that, I covered that in great detail in this video here. So make sure to check that out. Otherwise, when you close, you're going to see that earnest money deposit credited back to you on the master settlement statement at closing. Okay, so let's recap. You've found the home you liked, you've gotten pre-approved, and you've signed the contract, and you've deposited your earnest money. Now what? So now, you finish your loan application. The lender will reach out to you and stay in contact with you and ask for any additional documents that they need. That typically includes more pay stubs, bank statements, income statements, etc. Whatever they need to finish this application, they will ask you for it. So try to be timely about getting those documents over to them to make sure that everything moves smoothly and that you're going to close on time. Now, depending on how close your home is to completion, there are 2 ways that this next part will go. If your home is move-in ready, it's already completed, it will take 30 to 45 days until closing. So if you need a home in the next 30 to 45 days, look at something that's either done, it's move-in ready, or it's almost done on the inventory sheet. If you need more time, then look for something in the 60 to 90 day range on the inventory sheet. And here's a bonus negotiation tip that I'm going to share with you. If you find something that is move-in ready, the builder likely wants it sold as soon as possible. They want it cleared from their books so that it looks better to their stakeholders. So what does that mean for you? That means that you can often find the best incentives on move-in ready homes, especially if they've been sitting there for a little longer than usual. The builder will offer money to you, they'll offer credits, buy downs, possibly additional appliances, or a combination of all of the above. And here's another thing. If you chose one of the homes that will be ready in 60 to 90 days, One way to know when that will be complete is to see where it is in the building stage. So typically if you see cabinets and countertops, that means it's about 60 days until it will be complete and you can close. So now that you know that, make sure you plan accordingly. If you're renting, make sure your lease is going to be done around that time. And if you're selling a home, hopefully try to have that home close around the same time. It's a little bit difficult, but we've done that before. So if you have questions about that, just reach out. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because we need to talk about your next biggest expense, which will be your home inspection. So usually about a week before closing, the builder is going to invite you to the home for either a blue tape walk or a new homeowner orientation. Lennar calls it a new homeowner orientation. D.R. Horton calls it a blue tape walk. So basically, the builder is saying, we're almost done with your home. Why don't you come check it out and see how we've done? So you're gonna walk through the home. They're gonna show you how everything works. They'll show you how to operate certain appliances, how to activate your warranties. They'll also show you how to maintain your countertops, where your thermostat is, and things like that. That is also when you walk through with your realtor, hopefully me, and we're gonna mark off areas that need fixing or repairs or just small adjustments. For example, maybe there's a paint drip that you would like to be removed, or maybe there's an area that needs a little bit more paint, or little things like that. That's where it's going to be addressed. And expect to find things here, because no home is perfect. I have not yet been to a walkthrough where there was nothing that needed to be addressed. There's always going to be a few little things that need to be done, and that's completely normal. It's also recommended that you get your own home inspection done. So this is actually your biggest expense that I was going to talk about. Typically, you can get the home inspection done before your new homeowner orientation or before your blue tape walk. So let's say, for example, that your blue tape walkthrough is on Wednesday. So we're going to try to get the home inspector scheduled on Monday or Tuesday to check out the home. So that's when we coordinate with the builder and the sales agent and the superintendent to make sure that that house is ready for the inspector to inspect. And that inspection is going to cost around $500, more or less, depending on how large your home is. So then the inspector is going to walk through the house. They're going to make a list of items that need to be addressed. And we call that the inspection report. So then once you have the inspection report, you're going to send that report to the builder. And in the next week or so, the builder is going to have those items addressed and make sure that they're all done before closing. Now, the business day before closing is where you will see whether or not those items were addressed. And that day before closing is called the final walkthrough. And it's just exactly how it sounds. You walk through the home one final time before you close, and you make sure that all the items from the blue tape walkthrough and your inspection, all those items, you make sure that those were addressed. And if you're worried about whether or not they're gonna have everything repaired and done in time, they typically will. They typically do everything they can to make sure that your home closes on time. Because what you might not know is that that builder or that superintendent has their bonuses tied to that house closing on time. So if the superintendent doesn't close your home on time, then their bonus is negatively impacted by that. So they have monetary incentive to close on time. So once you've done the inspection, the new homeowner orientation, or also the blue tape walk, and the final walkthrough, then the following business day after the walkthrough is closing day. So celebrate. You've gotten to closing day, you've got your brand new home. Congratulations, you did it. But there are a few more things that need to be taken care of. After you close, you'll have to go back to the home to have it rekeyed. Either you go back or the builder might do this before you close. And in some instances, to have it rekeyed, all you have to do is put the key in the lock and turn it a few times, and then it's rekeyed. But it's gonna depend on the builder, it's gonna depend on the community, and the builder will tell you how to do that. So that way, you don't have to worry about any contractors getting into your home without you knowing. Also, the day of closing, I would recommend switching over the water, the sewer, and electricity. Switch all that over to your name. And how you do this depends on which county you're buying the home in. If you're in Summerville, you could either be in Dorchester County or Berkeley County, or maybe even Charleston County. So you may have to go to one building to switch over the water and go to a separate building to put the sewer in your name. Sometimes for electricity, if it's with Dominion Energy, which is very likely, you can apply online for your energy bill. This is very important if you're from out of town or if you're from another state. Get your water and sewer switched over to your name because you have to be there in person to do that. So after closing, make sure you do that before you head back home to get your stuff ready to move. Also, while you're in the area, make sure you get all your HOA stuff. Make sure you pick up your mailbox key or any community center keys, anything like that. Make sure you pick those up. And when you're moving, I'm gonna recommend that you hire movers because it's a lot more work than you think to move all those things. See if you can get your family to help, but otherwise, I would definitely hire movers. And don't count on your friends coming in exchange for pizza and beer. I don't think anyone wants to help move in exchange for pizza and beer anymore. Another thing that you might not expect that I definitely recommend you do is to get out your phone and put this in your calendar. About 9 or 10 months from now, create an event and set a reminder for you to get your house re-inspected. Typically, these builders have at least a 1-year warranty. Sometimes it's 1-year warranty, 5-year warranty, 6-year warranty, but at least 1 year. So they will cover any warranty items within 1 year of you closing. So get your house re-inspected after 9, 10, maybe even 11 months so that you know what to ask for in your warranty claim. After that amount of time, you're gonna notice new things that come up that you didn't notice in the final walkthrough. That's because you've lived in it. You'll notice what needs to be addressed over time. And this is the best time to make claims on your warranty. And that's it. Enjoy your brand new home and enjoy your great financial decision that you've just made. So if you're excited to buy a brand new home in as little as 90 days and you're ready to become a homeowner, just reach out. I would love to work with you and I would love to help you make a move in the Charleston or Summerville areas. My information's in the description. You can call, text, email me anytime. I love talking with you guys. And click here to watch another video.